Hello my dear students, today we will start the basic electrical engineering course for VTU University. So we will start with the module 1. In this module 1 we will have the DC circuits and AC circuits. So before going to that, we will see what it is there in basic electrical engineering course. So what is the fundamentals required for this basic electrical engineering course? I already told in the previous class, that is introduction syllabus. You require a basic knowledge of mathematics, a required knowledge of physics. So this is a prerequisites which is required for the study the basic electrical course. Now see, so let us start the course. So how the course is classified? So the basic electrical engineering course is classified like this. So first it is starting with so division of the course. Just I am dividing the course into two parts. That is, one is electrical circuits, another is the electrical machines. So in the electrical circuits we are having two types of electrical circuits we are going to study here. One is DC electrical circuits, another is the AC electrical circuit. Here also two types of electrical machines, that is DC machines are there, AC machines. Under the DC circuits we are going to study what is the Ohm's law, here also common, and series circuits, parallel circuits, combination of above. Then we will study in the DC circuits only resistor circuits. Coming to the AC, these are all there in AC also. Next, when you come for the DC machines, you are going to see what is the DC motor and what is the DC generator. Next, here also, first actually it is starting with the transformer, that is one of the AC machines what we are using. Next, it is there with the AC generator. Next we are having the AC motor. Like this I have classified, and after that below the electrical circuits only one of the other topic is also there, that is domestic wiring. In the domestic wiring, if you see the subtopics, so types of wiring what we are using. Next, protection devices. Next, electric shock, it will gives the information about the electric shock, how the electric shock is getting. Next, how to prevent, what is the precautions to be taken to avoid the electric shocks. Next, after that we will have finally what is the earthing, what is the meaning of earthing, why we have to provide the earthing. This is of entirely the syllabus. So what we can classify. So first module it is entirely dealing with the resistor, but when you come for the AC circuits it is dealing with RLC and also the same Ohm's law, series circuits, parallel circuits, and a combination of RLC. Like this we will study the course. So as I told in the previous class, we will start with the module 1. Module 1, after completion of the module 1, we will start the previous question papers. After that module 2, like that previous papers, module 2, then like that module 3, module 4 and module 5. This is the way we are going to follow to complete this course. Okay, let us start with the basic. What is the meaning of the electrical circuit? Electrical circuit is a connection of various elements. It is a connection of various elements to form a closed path, and it is performing a particular function. So it is performing a particular function. That is the meaning of the electrical circuit. What are the various elements are there in electrical circuit? Before going to that, let us consider this simple example. If you see the torchlight, so if you see the torchlight, in this torchlight we will have batteries we require, is it right? So this is the source we are using. Next, we require a bulb here, that is the sink which is absorbing the source, power of source. Next, wires. Wires are the mediator between this source and sinks. So definitely it is performing particular function. What is that particular function? You can say particular function it is doing, it is giving the light. So light is produced because of this torchlight. So by connection of all these elements you are producing a light. This is meaning of the electrical circuit. In the next class I will show the torchlight internally how it is connected. You will see the batteries, you will see the bulb, you will see the wires there. So what are that various elements? I use the word various elements. What are that various elements? So if you see the various elements, so first classification is active elements and passive elements. So here active elements are also called as the sources. Passive elements are also called as the sinks. Another name is given for these sinks or loads also. So when you see the active elements, how they are classified, so how the classification of active elements has done. If you see the active elements they are classified into two types. One is independent sources, another is the dependent sources. So another classification is also there here for active elements. One other is a DC sources and here it is AC sources. Next, what is the passive elements? So passive elements are loads, another name it is given. So what are the different types of passive elements are? One is a resistor, inductor and capacitor. These are the three elements which are known as the passive elements, and they are the loads. These loads may be a combination of these three elements, which we will see in the module 2. So we will discuss that later. So what are the types of this loads will be there, that we will discuss later. So if you see the definition of these active elements and definition of the passive elements, we will define first these active elements and passive elements. Active elements are known as the elements which will produces the electrical energy, This type of elements are known as the active elements. So they will produce this electrical energy. The production, they will produce the electrical energy. When you come for the passive elements, they will absorb the electrical energy. So this is the basic definitions of the active elements and passive elements. So here one more classification I have shown here: DC sources, AC sources. So independent sources and dependent sources, another classification. So in this independent sources, we have two types of classifications. Another is voltage independent sources, current independent sources. Here also one more classification: dependent voltage sources and independent dependent current sources. These are the different types of classification of active elements and passive elements. But passive elements we will have only 3, but we can create types of loads by using a combination of these 3 elements. Let us move on. Next, that is the elements are there in electrical circuit. So after having the electrical circuit, so you have to provide a, what you have to provide? You have to provide a closed path. So closed path for the current. So there we are given types of sources. So we have given the types of sources are voltage source, a current source, but in the universe current source is not existing. Electronic circuits, some electronic circuits are acting like the current sources. Okay, voltage source you have existing in the universe. Voltage source examples are DC generators, AC generators, batteries. We will see these are all the examples of the voltage sources. Coming to the syllabus. So when we come for the syllabus, actually it is starting with the what is the Ohm's law, definition of the Ohm's law. So this was defined by a scientist George Siemens Ohm. So based on his name only the Ohm's law was defined. Okay, the current flowing through any element. Let us consider the passive element, that is a resistor. Current flowing through this resistor is directly proportional to applied voltage or potential difference between those 2 points of the resistor. So this is the voltage you are applied. So how it is defined as the current flowing through this resistor is directly proportional to applied voltage. So how much of voltage you are applied, that much of current is flowing. So V is equals to I into R. To remove that proportionality constant, we are taken the R. What is R here? R is known as a resistor. R is known as the resistor. Resistor is element here and it is having some property. That property is known as the resistance. So you understand the meaning of the resistor. Resistor is a element here, resistance is a property. That is the, to explain that, just I have taken that line. So resistor, so if you take the definition of resistor, element which oppose the flow of, element which oppose the flow of current is known as the resistor. This is the element, the property of that element, this property which is opposing this property is known as the resistance. So resistor is represented is always like this. So this is the meaning is there for this representation. So because it is not allowing current to flow very smoothly, instead of going smoothly, it has to travel some hard path, that is a zigzag connection, going right, left, right, left, like that. So it will take the time to cross this element. So that is the opposition. To give that opposition, they are represented, the resistor is like this. So we got the Ohm's law, V is equals to I into R. So what is another formula you can get from here is I is equals to V by R you can write, and R is equals to V by I. These are the three forms of the Ohm's law what we are going to use frequently in the problems. So V is equals to, what is the terms we are used here? V, you know it as the voltage or potential difference between those 2 points, and voltage is measured in always in volts. Next I is current, that is current is measured in amperes, that also you know already. Next R is a resistor that is measured in ohms. These are the different are there. So when you see this resistor, when the resistor is increased, current is, when the resistor is decreased, the current will be increases. So there is a inverse relation is there between the current and resistor. So let us see in detail about this resistor, because the resistor has came here. So if you see the in detail about the resistor is also defined from the construction side, that is rho L by A. What is this rho? Rho is the resistivity of the material what we are used for the manufacturing of this resistor. L is the length of the resistor, A is the area of cross section, A is the area of cross section. So this is the another formula you can consider for resistor. This is also very important, right? So whenever you have seen the resistor, so we will discuss about the Ohm's law. Its limitations are also very important. So actually in the Ohm's law definition only they will give one limitation, that is this Ohm's law is applicable at constant temperature. So you have to maintain the temperature is constant. Then it is applicable for linear elements only. What is the meaning of this linear elements? Linear elements, the elements which are showing the property like this. If you draw a voltage and current characteristics are like this. So if the elements which are showing the property like this type of elements are known as the linear elements. Examples are for linear elements are resistor, inductor and capacitor. These are known as the linear elements. So whenever you are increasing the voltage, current is also increasing. This type of elements are known as the linear elements. And coming to not applicable for unilateral elements. Not applicable for unilateral elements. See, what is the meaning of this unilateral elements? What is the unilateral elements we have is, let us consider the diode. Diode will allow the current in only one direction, that is in forward direction. It will not allow in the reverse direction. Another example is transistor. This is also same. It will allow the current in only one direction, so it will not allow in a bidirectional. So if you see that not applicable for unilateral elements. So another is a bilateral elements. Bilateral elements are, so whatever it may be, a resistor, inductor and capacitor, they are allowing the current in both directions. That means, you see here simple example, for resistor current will flow in this direction also, the current will come in this direction also. This type of elements are known as the bilateral elements. So this is not applicable for unilateral elements. The examples are diode and transistor, maximum some electronic components. So this is of about the resistor and Ohm's law and its limitations. So in the next class we will see what is the applications of Ohm's law. What is the applications of Ohm's law? Applications of Ohm's law is used for reduction in series, parallel circuits, and in analysis of nodal analysis and mesh analysis. So this is of heart of electrical engineering, we can say. That is the different applications of Ohm's law. That is the applications of Ohm's law. So in the next class we will start what is the KCL, KVL, what is the applications of KCL and KVL also. We will see series and parallel circuit.